Welcome back to the channel, guys. Another live stream. We are going to be discussing British farmers are about to cause mayhem. Yes, there is a lot going on in the British farming community, and of course we all know that the big day is ahead. Well, it's tomorrow. It's going to be massive, and it's said to be probably the biggest sort of farming protest in the whole in a long time. To be fair, the mainstream media are actually dubbing this as the biggest protest to happen since Labour took power, obviously not taking for account the Unite the Kingdom protest that took place at the end of October. Of course, mainstream media silence is always the case with regards to this, but as stated, this is going to be absolutely huge, as 10 to 40,000 farmers, or people that are part of the farming community, and if not a part of the farming community, just wanting to go down there and stand with our farmers in solitude, are heading down there. As stated at the time of recording, it's expected there is going to be about 10 to 40,000 people, and that's just currently guesswork. It could be a hell of a lot more that come down. Of course, the government is now preparing ahead of it, and it looks like there is going to be absolute mayhem. The farmers are not happy, and rightfully so. You have every right to protest. I mean, the Free Plasticine lot do it every single day, every single week anyway. Just Stop Oil, all these people. So yeah, it's great to see these guys actually standing up and protesting. We've seen with Keir Starmer heading to Wales for this Labour conference that there was a ton of farmers out in attendance, but again, they were left frustrated because Keir Starmer went out the back door and didn't confront them. But this is going to be bigger and better than anything before in terms of the actual protest. As stated, this is taking place in London, and there's going to be a ton of tractors coming down, and of course you'll see a lot of this up here. Tomorrow, and of course here at British Stand, we will be covering the whole story and bringing you all the latest footage and all that kind of stuff. But as stated, they are heading for Westminster and going to be bringing some noisy and influential friends with them, as of course Jeremy Clarkson will be making an appearance as well. As I said, the controversy over the tractor tax, and of course the inheritance tax that they're rightfully pissed off about. Of course they're going to be pissed off about, because why would they have to pay inheritance tax to pass on their businesses towards their family? It's just one area where the Labour government have completely nuked this industry. You sell something for £1 million and you've got to pay £100,000 worth of tax on it, when people have had it in their family for years and years and years. This government are constantly wanting to try and tax it. Now, the reason why there is a little bit of panic here now coming from the Labour government themselves ahead of this one is because of the strike that could follow soon after. Now, we're getting basically a heads up that Labour have now started to prepare a contingency plan, and ministers have been forced to start preparing the plan to keep supermarket shelves stocked with food in case farmers follow through with their protest threats over inheritance tax. Tens of thousands, as we stated, are going to be in the capital tomorrow, having already gathered at the Labour Welsh conference on Saturday over Rachel Reeves' inheritance tax raids on family farms. Farming leaders have distanced themselves from the strike, which would lead to the food shortage, but have warned that emotions are running high over Labour's betrayal of the countryside. Farming Minister Daniel Schneier has called for calm, claiming the vast majority of farmers will be fine despite the tax hikes, and has criticised extraordinary claims about the numbers of farms potentially affected. While the Transport Secretary Louise Hay told Sky News that the choices that we set out in the budget are fair and proportionate, though she acknowledged the difficult situation that many are in. National Farmers Union Chief Tom Bradshaw has warned that hitting supermarkets is not an NFU tactic in the face of the minister's worries. But as stated, there is a lot of farmers that could potentially go on strike because of this, after this, because they have been hit so badly and are massively affected. And it feels that this Labour government has completely forgot about them and completely taxing them into a real big hole. We've already heard some of the horror stories that some have even committed suicide. One individual committed suicide over it, which is really sad to hear. But many other farmers are going to be affected in different different ways. And it's not one shoe fits all approach that the Labour government always seems to think happens in every single matter. Everyone's going to be affected completely different. And you can understand why people want to revolt, and you can understand why people want to stand up and try and get their voices to be heard. Unfortunately, though, whilst I condone the protests that are going to be taking place in London, unfortunately, this Labour government, everything always falls on short ears and probably won't be ever dealt with and probably won't be changed with regards to the situation. But Reform Party member Richard Tice came out and spoke about the protest tomorrow and spoke about the situation as well, and stated that he blasted the Labour government's handling of the recent tax changes of affecting the rural community. He said, Labour is ideologically just wrong and resentful of farmers. They've got this badly wrong. Everybody knows that. But if you're in a hole, you just stop digging. There's an expression in business, the first loss is the best loss. If you got it wrong, you just say, we've got the number wrong, we've got the threshold wrong. You can see what people were you can see what they were trying to do, which is to prevent abuse of the tax benefit by very rich people. So you can say you've got to be involved in farming for 10 years, not 2. You could increase the threshold to 5 to 10 million. These are simple ways to deal with potential abuse of the tax system. Instead, they've just got it completely wrong. They don't understand how farms work. They don't understand that you can be asset rich, but cash poor, or the impact of growth. I know one farmer that cancelled a £1 million extension to his strawberry business under polytunnels. I know another farmer who's cancelled a £300,000 order for new equipment. I know a Republican in my constituency who scrapped plans to open a new pub just because of all the pressures around it and the national insurance and the risk in the business property relief on all of this stuff. So it's already impacting growth already. We've seen a disaster of growth figures, and farmers quite rightly are absolutely furious. They were lied to by this government. They said during the election campaign there were no plans to change this with regards to farming relief. So I think farmers will demonstrate legally, peacefully tomorrow in big numbers. Should they go on a sort of production strike or something? Who knows? But the government needs to start listening. So again, I echo what Richard Tice is saying there. And as I said, they have their every right to go out there and protest and cause as much noise as they possibly can. Look, the farming community aren't going to be, rioting or anything like that. But they will go out there and make sure that they're heard, whether that's probably causing an inconvenience to the capital. I mean, the Westminster, if you ever tried driving down there, think about thousands of tractors being down there. It's going to be absolute mayhem in the city. It's going to be absolute mayhem. It could probably see the place shut down, that it's going to be that busy, 10 to 40,000 people there, all of the tractors there as well. And quite rightly, you can see why the Labour government are starting to panic, but they put themselves in this hole and they just keep on digging and digging and digging and digging. And it just seems there's no other way out for the farmers, and they have to try and do everything in their means possible to try and be heard and trying to reverse this tax. Because as Richard Tice said, it's not one shoe that fits all. You can, as I said, I hate Labour, but they're always after the rich. They're always after the people that have a lot of money, and that was in their manifesto to try and take down. But it's affecting regular working people, as stated, that are asset rich, that have got a farm that maybe been in their family for hundreds of years, tens of years, but actually don't have that much cash when it comes away from it. So they're completely destroying the farming. And to be fair, when it comes to farming, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. You genuinely can't bite the hand that feeds you, because you'll soon realize the power that farmers actually do have in this country and what they're able to do by just simply going out on strike. Yes, they might have a contingency plan in place, but it's going to cause mayhem in general if that strike actually does go ahead. So I do hope, I hope for the farmers that are going to be in attendance and the people that are going to be supporting the farmers tomorrow are going to be heard. But unfortunately, I just feel that it's going to fall on deaf ears. I don't think anything is going to happen with regards to a reversal, because they're stubborn and they just stick by it and they think that they've done a good job here, but they've massively effed up with this budget, and they've massively effed over farmers, and quite rightly they're going to be going out and protesting. But as stated, guys, I wish them all the best tomorrow. We'll be following the action, of course. I don't expect it to be violent whatsoever or anything like that. expect there to be a lot of noise and a lot of congestion. And if they do go out on strike, then, then so be it, because they're the people that are being completely affected by this. Myself and you guys watching at home may have been impacted. Well, we've all been impacted in some way from the budget. But this is really this could really destroy farming in this country. And so a part of me feels that this is the route that he actually wants to go down, and he's just hiding behind a guise and wants to try and cause this problem, and wants to try and destroy farming, because there is a few conspiracy theories out there, Mr. Bill Gates included. So again, I'll leave that for another discussion, but again, I wish all the best to the farmers and the people that are taking part in London. And hopefully they get that turn that they deserve. But again, it won't happen, unfortunately. Let's have a little look at some comments here, guys. Thank you for all tuning in, by the way. Really thankful for the support here on this channel at this moment in time. Do, if you haven't already, hit the old like, hit the subscribe, get involved. We've just passed 116,000 subscribers, which is pretty mental. But yeah, thank you for your support. Mark says, I don't think they can fit any more manure in Parliament. Good point, Mark. Good point. Very, very good point. I don't think they can either, to be fair. Mel Plant says, yeah, kudos to the farmers. Go farmers and take the full resources to defend yourself against any force that they can throw against you. I mean, farmers, you don't want to mess with them anyway in general. I don't think the police are going to be able to do much if they decided to do much. All things that interfere with government will have all the support. Well done to everyone. What a sick looking spanner. He is crazy. CP reports, according to my sources, there is going to be arrest if the farmers block the roads tomorrow. I keep quoting that Stuck Farmer t-shirt. It's getting me mixed up. I've heard that as well. Tomorrow, but I just feel if there's going to be tractors down there in general. Look, if any of you guys have been to Westminster, this can be congested quite a lot. Central London can always be very congested. And then when you're sticking tractors in there, I mean, you just have to be on a motorway, not a motorway, a dual carriageway, and you could have a tractor, not dual carriageway, I'm messing up too much. Just a normal road and having a tractor going down there. You've been stuck behind a tractor before. It's a pain in the arse. Now imagine thousands of them in Westminster. It's going to, of course, cause congestion. The city's going to come to a standstill, generally. Not for a violent reason, just due to the sheer volume of people and the sheer volume of tractors that are actually going to be in attendance. So, I say don't pay the tax. I mean, that's easier said than done, Craig. Unfortunately, if life was that easy, we'd all be doing it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. As they say, two things are certain in life: death and taxes. Unfortunately, some farmers have contracts to supply milk, eggs, butter and cheese because they can get prosecuted for denying children food for just what the government would like to step in with. The army, says Rapid. I mean, the army are always going to be the sort of backup option, of course. Farmers are all we have. We lost everything in this country, no industry, nothing. If we lose farmers, we have nothing. Exactly. And that's why it's such an important factor. This is why it's such a big deal. That's why it's such an important thing that we get we have this U-turn. There's a lot of problems with this budget. There genuinely is. Now, again, I am anti-Labour. I'm anti-Keir Starmer, of course I am. But I also understand that any budget that ever happens, there's obviously going to be tough decisions to make. But they completely went against their whole manifesto and are literally affecting the people that they said they wouldn't affect, the working people. They are literally destroying working people, and farmers are the backbone of this country and literally destroying working people and people that keep this country going, which is seriously sad. And I hope they have their moment tomorrow. I really do hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears. I genuinely don't. Obviously, there's a lot of influencers going to be down there tomorrow. Jeremy Clarkson's going to be down there. He's got quite an influence, quite opposing of Starmer and Labour as well. So we'll find out. We'll see. But definitely we'll see what happens. But again, I sound like a parrot, but I'm sure this will probably fall on deaf ears, which is super unfortunate, because they just don't listen. This government don't listen. Keir Starmer's Labour government just don't listen to the people. They're stubborn. They would have thought that everything is perfect about this budget, even though that this is a problem. They will still look by it and go, you know what? No, we made the right decision, and still stand by it. So, yeah, we'll have to see, guys. But it's going to be a big day. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry if I've rambled on a little bit. But again, last time, I do wish the best to everyone that's all in attendance tomorrow, and hope it goes well. And if you haven't already, go get yourself a Stuck Farmer t-shirt. Again, this is not just for farmers, but it's for everybody. I'll play the clip for you.
Just a quick one to say we have new Stuck Farmer t-shirts available on our store. Go grab them now. They are available at britishstand.com, or check the link in the description.
So yeah, there you go. Sorry, I had to plug it in there, but I mean, it's relevant. I would love to see a few people down there in the videos tomorrow wearing that t-shirt. But it's super relevant, not just for the farmers, but genuinely everyone who hates Keir Starmer and this Labour government. Go get one. And as I said, I'd love to see some people there in attendance with those t-shirts made by British Stand. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll probably be back later for another live stream. There's a few talking points to discuss today. We've got a few big stories, so we'll go through them all. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. Hit the